Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at some more advanced sketch tools. So we've talked about in the past, we've done them to death. We've done the line tool, we've done the rectangle tool, we've done the circle, and we've done the spline. And that's really all we've used to make the shapes that we've been creating. What I want you to do first today is I want you to use the line tool and make me any shape you want, but not too complicated. It's going to have maybe some angles on it, and just comes back to join up, so it is now a closed shape. Um, Now, we've talked about chamfers and fillets during the feature video. However, the first thing I'm going to show you today is how to put a fillet on a sketch. And I will be honest, it really doesn't matter too much whether you do it on the feature or on the sketch. If you do it on the sketch, it can get less complicated um, later on. So all you're going to do is you're going to go across the toolbar and you're going to click on this feature, this button here. It looks like a corner with a curve on it. It's called the sketch fillet. All you're going to do is click that and then click on. I'm going to click on every corner. You don't have to. Um, and again, if I'm clicking on every corner, I could have just clicked and dragged around the whole shape. Now, when we do this, you will get one icon here. That is the radius. And we can either pull all the curves in, or I can double click and set a dimension on this. So I'm going to set that to, I'm going to set it to 10. Press enter, and you will see now I've got a 10mm radius on all of those corners. I'm going to show you how to dimension a circle now. So we've talked about, in one of the first videos we talked about how we can press D to enter dimension mode, or we can click this icon at the top. And we click on a line, and we can control the distance between that line. If we click between two lines that are parallel, we can control the distance between those lines. And if we click on two lines that aren't parallel, we can control the angle between those lines. Circles are a little bit different. The way circles work is you always measure from the center of the circle. So let's give this a dimension of a circle with a diameter, that's the entire way across, of 30 mil. And that symbol there with the line going through the circle, that's the diameter symbol. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set a dimension between this edge and the center of that circle. If I do it to the edge, it doesn't work. Or it does work, but it gives you very skew results that you don't want. And it doesn't define it correctly. So always from the center of the circle. This is an engineering convention, so get used to doing this, please. I'm just going to go down. I'm going to drop that there, and I'm going to set that to 30 as well. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the base. So from the center of the circle, click once, click on the base, and I can draw my circle out. Okay, lots of the kids I teach ask me how to move different shapes about, and the easiest answer is you can't. If we were to, for example, extrude the shape, and maybe you've got a rectangle, let's quickly do that by the side of it. Lots of people ask me, how can I move those so that they're touching or so they're further apart from each other? The easy answer is you can't, not in the current state. The way we position things, now, we can jump into assembly. We're going to do that in a couple of lessons' time. In a part studio, which is what we're in now, the only way to move it in the proper way to move things around is you've got to move the sketch itself. So, for example, if I go into this sketch by double clicking sketch 2 to the rectangle, the only way I can move this, say I want to see it about touching there. If I want these two shapes touching or there or thereabouts, if I want it directly on the axis, I just set that distance to 0 and it's easy. If I want it beyond the axis, what I would do is I would try and set set this to 10 mil. However, that pops it out the wrong side. So all I need to do is set that to -10. It jumps the other side. That's gone a little bit far. Let's try -8. Oh, huh. Let's try that again. -9. We're going to stick with -9, whatever it looks like. Look at that. Just clips it. Perfect. And I want it. I want it on this surface. I want it level with the base of this. So I'm going to set that to 0. And what that's actually done is it's brought this line all the way below this line and kept it in place. So what I can do to solve that, I can set this to 60. What that'll do is it'll keep that distance. It'll keep the proportion of this line between this line and this line. So I'm going to click there. Oh, I think I've already got it. I'm going to click 0, and then my whole thing moves down. If I click the tick now, I've positioned that shape just by altering the dimensions in relation to other parts or other elements in my workspace. Okay, I'm going to get rid of those. The next tool is something that we've sort of touched on a little bit. Say I want quite a complex shape. I want something that looks a bit like a staircase. The easiest way for me to do that is to draw one box, overlooking another box, overlapping another box. And we can dimension that to make sure they're all exactly the same size. I'm not going to bother to do that. But what you'll see is that I can't just extrude these because I've got these lines in the way. And these lines are blocking my shape from being a single solid closed shape. So I need to get rid of them. And we've touched on this in the past. If we click the scissors, there's two ways I can do this. I can either hover over a line, and that will select each line up to the next intersection, which is here. And I can just one by one select these lines with the scissor tool, the trim tool it's called, and get rid of them. So I've got one solid shape. The easier way I prefer to do is if I click and drag, you will see I get this line that comes out. And all I need to do is just pass this line through every line I want to get rid of, and I find that much quicker. And then we can extrude it as normal into a staircase-like shape. There are other tools on here which we're not going to go into today. If you want to do some text, all you need to do is click on a plane or a flat surface. That's your text. You can only add text in the sketch tool feature. You draw where you want your text to be. On point, Onshape. Click the tick. Now, there's a few ways you can alter the text itself, the font. The only way to alter the size is by using the dimension tool. There's no click and drag like you might find on PowerPoint or Word. So that's 399. Let's try 100. And it will keep it all in proportion. You cannot make the text taller than the font allows. Let's try 50. So if I type 10 here, I don't think it's going to let me do it. Nope, it's going to go red because the height is determined by the width. Okay, there's one other thing I'm going to show you. I know I said there wasn't. I think this will be a good thing for you to see. Let's take the stairs again. I've decided I want my stairs a little bit bigger. But if you've already dimensioned it, it's going to be a real pain to redimension it and make everything 5 mil larger. That's why we've got the offset tool. The offset tool is next to the trim tool on my toolbar that we've just used, and I'm going to use this to make a border or an outline that's either bigger or smaller than my piece. If you want, again, you can go around each piece and do it individually, or what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select the whole thing. And now you can see I've got that border. I can either pull it all the way out, push it in. I can only push it in a certain amount before it starts to get errors, before I think it's these 2 points that actually collide and touch each other. Um, with an offset tool, you can't clip through, but I can get it to that. And I can set this to, let's set it to 5 mil. Um, and then all I need to do is click once. You'll see with the cursor, I've got the green tick just to do click when I'm done. And it's put me a nice border. And what I can do now, what this is going to do is it's actually going to let me pull out that frame because I've still got my original sketch there. So that's how I might do maybe a cabinet or a frame for something. We're doing our picture frames with our Year 11s at the minute. That's how I've told them to do that. Uh, and I'll tell you what, that's one of the most common tools that I use when I sketch. Okay, there are other tools that we're not going to get into today. They are, if you want to have a play about with them, they're the project tool and the pattern tool are the two, which we're certainly going to cover in future videos. But if you want to have a look into them, then feel free to have a go and see if you can work out what they do. Okay, if you found the video useful, drop a like and a comment. Subscribe if you found these videos useful. And if not, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.